What's up, my friends? It's Joe Herrera coming to you live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, as always. This is going to be quick, but it's going to be important. So this week, I hit up my guy, Tamir, the CEO at Real, and I just said, hey, Tamir, because I've heard numbers. And I was like, what are the actual numbers of agents that participate in revenue share at Real? Why is this important? Real is an absolute rocket ship. Like, we keep growing every single month. It's almost like 1,000 agents a month are joining us, net 1,000 agents. We don't have a lot of turnover, but every company has turnover. And so it's like, why are we growing so fast? We just hit 27,000 agents. I'm sure before we know it, in a week or two, it'll be 28 and then 29 and then 30, and it's just going to keep growing. So the question I had for him was, hey, my guy, what percentage of agents at Real actually participate in revenue share? Because I know for me, I had a prejudice against companies like Real before coming to Real, because my whole thing was, well, why don't you just go sell more houses? Like, why are you obsessed with agent recruiting, attraction, whatever you want to call it? It's like, why don't you just go sell more houses? The number he gave me is shocking. So think about this. We're adding 1,000 agents a month net, meaning really nobody's leaving, everybody's staying at the company. And only 11% of agents participate in revenue share. That means 89% of agents at Real do not participate in revenue share. So then why on earth are they coming? Now, you could say, well, they're coming because they think they're going to participate in revenue share. Okay, cool, I get you. Why then are they staying? Why don't we have turnover? And I've asked some of the agents that I know that are at the company, and I've really identified these 4 things that are super important, or in other words, the 4 things that really matter when taking a look at Real. And if I'm you, not at Real, watching this video, I would challenge myself, how do these 4 things fit in my life with my current brokerage relationship? Number 1, culture is everything. So I'm what they call a growth ambassador with the company, meaning I'm just really old and I've been here a long time, and we've had some success with helping other people come into the company. And one thing that has been from the very foundation, we joined in June of 2021. We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary. One thing that's been very important from the beginning is no tribalism. No silos, no us versus them. And full disclosure, it's been kind of frustrating for me at times, because I can be a very tribal person. I've got my favorite golfers. I've got my favorite, like I've got the UNLV National Championship basketball behind me from 1990. I'm a big UNLV guy. So I like us versus them. But at Real, culture is greater than everything, meaning we're all in this together. And so that has been a process for me to get used to. But it's such a beautiful product. Now, our culture is more important than everything in more than one way. So the first way is we preach it, meaning we talk about it a lot. Hey guys, there's no siloing, there's no tribalism, there's no us versus them. But probably more important than talking about it and preaching it, we practice it. And there's programmatical ways in which all of us are netted together. So we've helped thousands of agents come to Real, and so have a lot of our friends that are not tied to us in a revenue share or a sponsorship world, until we co-sponsor agents. And so co-sponsorship is the practicing of the preaching that is our culture is important. And so really, if you know Joe Herrera and you know Ryan Zook, we're not connected. We're homies. He was with me when I got my hole-in-one, and here's my hole-in-one ball right here. So we're friends, but we came into the company through different channels. But now there are many agents that Ryan and I, or somebody I sponsor, somebody he sponsors, have co-sponsored together. And so it's really impossible to say where like Joe's world ends and Ryan's begins. We're just in this together. So number 1 reason why people, I think, come to Real, but what I know why they stay at Real is because they felt that feeling, that is, culture is more important than tribalism, us versus them. Collaboration is super important to us at Real. Number 2, I think people come for long-term opportunity. And I don't just mean the opportunity to create revenue share, because again, 89% of agents don't participate. So then what opportunity is there at Real? Well, going back to step number one, or point number one, the culture creates product. We have a culture of production. We don't have a culture of recruiting. We have a culture of production. And so the opportunity for them to do more deals, because they're a part of a international brokerage, the fastest growing real estate company in the world, that creates long-term opportunity for them. It could be referrals from agents from other marketplaces that are in the same company. But I honestly think the long-term opportunity, one of the ways they just become more productive, is going back to point number one. We're just so collaborative in the way we practice. If I'm doing something really cool and somebody from Tallahassee, Florida hits me up and like, hey man, I'm curious how that works, I'm happy to share it with them. When I owned my independent brokerage, we were on an island. We are no longer on an island. And so I believe that the long-term opportunity to be more productive is important. But tied to that opportunity is also trading production for ownership in the company. So everybody talks about revenue share with Real, but again, only 11% of people participate in it. A way bigger number of agents participate in the stock purchase plan and the stock award plan that Real has to offer. So the opportunity to acquire ownership in the company is huge. Over the last couple of years, I've acquired a lot of shares of stock in the company, not because of attraction or recruiting, but just because we're so dang productive. And that leads me to number three, which is the economic floor and ceiling. So the cost to belong to Real, there's no monthly fee, which I think is attractive to people. So like, why are people staying? Well, if they've fallen out of production or just trying to get their business back going, they're not cutting a check every month, which I think is important for them. But even if they are productive, the floor, the base cost to be at Real, if you're a solo agent, is only $12,000 a year. So if you're doing 20 deals a year, it gets divided. You're at, $500, $600 a file. To be at a company like Real with all that it has to offer for $500 or $600 a file is not that expensive. But the ceiling is so high in that if you do 35 transactions a year, at most companies, that will make you a top producing agent, and they'll give you a little award that says, this is actually my Phil Jones certification for exactly what to say, but it's like, hey, you're a top producing agent. Congratulations. You get a little piece of paper. At Real, if you do 35 units a year, you are going to be an elite agent. And so that ceiling gives you the opportunity to acquire, at that point, you will have paid your 12K cap. You will have paid some transaction fees. You'd be in about $18,000. And then by doing those 35 transactions, you would get back $16,000 worth of stock. So the net effect to your life is do 35 transactions and it costs you $2,000 a year to be at the company. I mean, that's insane. So the ceiling, the opportunity ceiling, the economic ceiling is massive, even if you have zero desire to participate in revenue share, just like the 89% of agents that don't. Last but not least, agent-focused technology. Real estate has been and will for sure in the future be a technology-based industry. Now, there's two ways to go with technology, and this is where I love my guy Pritesh Damani, the CTO at Real. There are companies out there, even in the brokerage space, trying to replace the role of an agent, trying to make it so that agents are less important, so that the compensation is less, so that a brokerage owner or a technology company can retain more money themselves. Real's approach is vastly different. So Real is doing everything it can to use its technology to enhance the life of the agent. And so one great example is Leo Copilot. Leo is an AI engine, which I know agents are trying to figure out AI. Real is figuring out AI for you. Leo is an AI agent that his entire function is to enhance the life of the agent. Real Wallet. A lot of agents are like, hey, how long does it take to get paid at your company? So like in Vegas, we would have to receive a commission check when we owned our brokerage. We would have to wait for it to clear. We would cut an agent a check. We would promise 48 hours. We'd try to do it in 24 hours. With Real Wallet, you can not only get paid instantly if you want, you can get paid before a file even closes. So now we've gone from traditional real estate to real estate tech to help agents, to fintech, now financial technology that now has its own valuation, going back to the economic opportunities, going back to the opportunity to acquire stock, enables you to leverage technology that increases the value of the company that you have ownership in. And so now that $18,000 you paid in got you $16,000 worth of stock, that the next year is worth $32,000. So this is quick. There's a lot of moving pieces here, but I was just amazed by the truth that only 11% of agents are participating in revenue share, yet our company grows at a rapid, fastest growing real estate company in the world. So guys, if you're still on the fence, I would ask myself those 4 questions. What is the culture of my current company? What's the long-term opportunity and upside for me there? What's my economic cost and what's my economic ceiling? What's my opportunity? And last but not least, what is my company doing to create technology that will enhance my life? My name's Joe Herrera. I hope this helped. Hope you have a great day. Hope you decide to hop on this rocket ship. I won't get into the Blue Origin's rocket ship. This rocket ship and what we're doing that will enable you to take your career where it needs to go, guys, because the reality is trading transaction files for commission checks and at the end of it having nothing to show for it but a little piece of paper that says, hey, you're really good. It's just not going to work in 2025. Have a great day. I hope you're finding value in the content you've been consuming, and my goal is to earn your subscription. So subscribe down below so that you get notified when we drop new content every single week.